Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this fun pocket that is very bulky and it is double-sided. Very cute. I used a digital to make this pocket, and it was inspired by the digitals that I showed on my last video, and several people had asked, and I'm just going to let, I did link it in the last video, but the gal who made these on Etsy was Liana Scrap, L-I-A-N-A Scrap. Reasonably priced. I mean, there was huge kits and lots of fun background kind of generic-y kind of pages, but not generic-y. And I thought these would be great to do it. Now you have to be able to have a front and back. So this one had a focal point of a flower on this side, but this side was a little bit more random, so it could be flipped over. I might have added some decoration onto it. This was a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, so I cut it down, and this is what's left of the digital piece. You can still see the border, but what's fun about having the background and this cut off piece is I should be able to now use this and maybe make a couple cards that can coordinate with this for it. Now, several people have asked, like, how do I get inspiration for some of these things? I just want to show you my mock-up for this. It's kind of funny. This was sheets of paper that came in. I don't even remember what it's from, but it's where you get all those language sheets. I'm sure it was some sort of medical information kind of thing, where they always give the you know, you can do it. I mean, you can do it in Swahili. I mean, they got everything. I'm not even sure what it's from. So this was supposed to be like the mock-up of a half a page, and then I did the folds, and I mocked it up. But this is where it started from, and this is the prettiness that it ended up from. So I do get my ideas, random thoughts, and I just started tearing up some of my mail and folding stuff, and that's how it went. Now, this next one I want to make, I want to use this as a page in some journal somewhere. It is double-sided, and it has bright, fun colors. So I pulled out my sheets. Now, these are not digitals. These were originally 12 by 12 pieces of paper. I've mentioned it before several times. I take a 12 by 12. I cut it down to be 8.5 by 11. So there's a 3.5 inch strip. I use the 3.5 strips a lot. There's 1 inch strip somewhere, but these are what I have left for the 8.5 by 11s. I would run them through printers. When I decide I want to, make a journal with yellow pages, I'll run it through printer and print on the opposite side. Or for this, that could be fun. I would run it through, just use it for pockets. I don't think I want hearts. I was thinking actually about doing green. A lot of pink pages here. That could work. It kind of looks like a fence, but I do kind of like these flame things. But I think I do like the green. I think it really brings out the fun green in that. So I think I'll use the green one. Okay, so you can start with the digital, and like my first one, I can't print on my printer, and maybe I can, but I've never found it. How I can't get rid of the borders. So mine always print like this. Now, I shouldn't say always. I've had a few somehow miraculously print to the full edge, but I don't know what I did. But this project, you can have the white borders. You don't have to cut it down. But this, obviously, being from 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, doesn't have borders. So if you want to start with the 12 by 12, or if you got, I know there's some paper pads. I even have them that start out 8.5 by 11. You can use those too. But just got to remember that you have to be able to fold it in half to make a pocket. So what we do is start by folding it in half the long way, and that is going to be the pocket from top to bottom, like that. Now, you don't need the full sheet. You only need 6 inches. Sorry, I mean to say not 6 inches. You need 7.5 inches of this 11. So sorry, I didn't make mistake. So you're going to need 7.5 inches of this. So if you are using a piece of paper that has a print, and you want to use this as a main focal point, you're going to have 7 inches going this way, and the rest is going to get cut off. If you want more of this, then you can cut it this way. So you have to determine in advance which way you want to go. So for this, let's say I was going to make it into a pocket. I would take that. Now, if I wanted the middle, I could also cut it down to be 7.5 that way and get rid of, some of that. So let's just, for giggles, say I wanted to get rid of this part right here, scraps, And of course this only goes to 6, so I can't measure. To 7.5. So we are going to cut it down to 7.5, which would be right there. So we'll get rid of that part. So now this is the pocket, but in the end, it's really 1.5 inches from here and 1.5 inches here. The center would be the pocket. So if you visualize it, this would be one side of the pocket, and this would be the second side of the pocket. If you do it a couple times, it totally makes sense. Now, obviously, if you're using this kind of paper, which doesn't matter, straight off, 7.5, call it a day. You don't have to worry about what's centered and what's not. So, 7.5 scraps. I don't know. I'm doing scrap buster videos, and I'm making scraps. What's up with that, Lisa? But I think this pocket is fun. It's versatile. It really can hold a lot of stuff in a journal. I like it. Okay. I am using a scrapbook paper, so I'm going to eventually want to fold this down to give it a bit of a strength for it in the pocket. I don't know if you can see, but it is folded down inside of there. I don't know if you have to really do it before or after, but and it doesn't even have to be totally even because one's on the front of the page, one's on the back for that. Okay, scoreboard. All right, so this is the pocket going up and down. I'm going to open it just to make it a little easier to score. Now, where I'm going to score is I'm going to score every 1/2 inch 3 times. I'm going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Whoops, we jumped the rail. And 1 inch. And 1.5 inches. I'm going to flip it over just to make it easier instead of subtracting. So we're going to do 1/2 inch and 1 inch and 1.5 inches. Now, if you want to make smaller gussets, you could do that. If you want to do 1/4 inch gussets, I just found it's easier to fold 1/2 inch. It's just easier. So it's probably hard to tell, but I'm going to fold it in where those 3 are. So that is the size of the pocket. I made the pockets 4.5 inches. I think that's a fine size. If you want to start with a 5-inch pocket, you want to add 1.5 inches to each side, so you'd have 8 inches instead of 7.5 inches. So it can all be adjusted. If you want a really skinnier pocket, again, the 1.5 inches for each side, so add 3 inches to whatever size pocket you want. You want a 3-inch pocket plus 3 inches is 6-inch piece of paper. So this could easily be done with if you took like a 12 by 12 and you cut it in half down to 6 and did it that way, make a taller pocket. All adjustable. Okay, hope I'm not confusing you too much. Hopefully this makes sense. All right, so we're going to start from the inside and we're going to fold the first at 1/2, and then we're going to fold it back, and there we go. And I'm just going to bone fold it so it is staying down a little bit. All right, we're going to fold it up and back, and we have our gusset. So simple, right? Okay, I am going to rip the paper. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to glue this down. Actually, I think I'm just going to use my arc glitter glue because it's a small thing. I'm going to glue my top down, and I'm going to eventually cut these little wings off, but it's just as easy to glue the whole top down so it's in place. And that was a really crooked a fold. If you want to make a straight fold, probably go ahead and score it. That would be a smart thing. If you don't care, it's really just for strength. Then just fold willy-nilly like I did. I don't think you'll actually be able to tell that it is too crooked. Put on a line. Yeah, it's a hair crooked. I'm okay. All right, so once that is done, I'm gonna fold it back to where its gussets land, and I'm going to find my little scissors. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to trim this corner. I'm not going to trim the pocket. I open it up just to trim it so that when it's folded in, it's not sticking up. We'll do that again. We'll fold it in like it's supposed to be, and we'll fold it out one just so I don't cut the pocket. And we're going to trim that down. All right. Let's do this side. Open it up and trim. Fold it in, open it up, and trim. All right, so for this fold here, that is going to be around the bottom of the page. I am also going to trim that so there's no bulk inside of here. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to reverse it into it, and I'm just going to take from the pocket and just snip that, pocket, snip that. And once again, the hinges are open, so I'm never cutting into the pocket. So now we got an opening, and they're set. And there we have our lovely little wraparound hinged pocket. If you want to put a groove in there for a thumb hole, you can. I don't think it's necessary because since this is hinged, it's not like you really have to be able to reach in there and have some place to pull up something out of there. It kind of gives itself its own thumb hole being open like that. But if you like the look of it, by all means, do that. If you want to ink it, do that. All right. If you want to decorate ahead, you can do that, or wait till it gets in this place and do that. All right, I'm not going to decorate this one. I did decorate that other one. And I never really considered if the inside would look good, but I think it looks okay. All right. Consider both sides of your paper. All right, I'm going to shove this in so I know that is in this place. I'm going to determine if I want it closer to the edge or not. Now, I did do 4.5 for this, even though this is 5.5 across, like a normal digital folded in half, or it is the 11 folded in half to 5.5. I want it a bit smaller. Since it is bigger and it's going to hold some stuff, I think I'm going to like push it more toward the opening and not have it inside of the spine. Okay, I'm going to push it all the way in and hold it down so it doesn't shift, and I'm going to just put glue on the hinge. Put glue on the hinge. And we're going to fold it up and we're going to press. Super simple, right? And we've got a hinge and we've got a hinge. So look how much space that has. Hopefully you can see. Look how much space it has to put something in there. I love it. And we'll go to the other side, and since it's glued in, all we got to do is open it up and throw some glue on that side. Oops. And see, since there is no extra fold there, it's not as bulky at the bottom, and as well as the top, you really can't see it goes inward, so you don't see it straight on the back wall. It's a little bit more camouflaged, cutting those angles off. Not a necessary thing to do, but definitely, I think it helps it look good. So yeah, you can just go ahead and just, stick a bunch of stuff in there. You can put some of that in there, and we got some stickers we can put in there, and we got some more stickers we can put in there. I'm just grabbing stuff. I got some stickers. You can just keep putting stuff in there, and I'll just keep holding stuff. I love it. And like I said, so easy to decorate, even if it's in, if you want to go ahead and add some stuff. I had this laying here. This could be kind of fun to put as a background on there, wouldn't it? Too busy on that side, but this side I think would be fun. I think I'm gonna put that there and then still rip a little bit off of there. And a little bit off the top. I know it covers most of it up, but yeah, I like that a lot. And pin glue. I know I said I wasn't going to decorate. See, that's what happens is I got my little box over there of stuff. And I see something catch the corner of my eye, and I see a color, and I go, oh, that would look pretty. Oh yeah, that's nice. I wonder if I have some pretty washi tapes from my little collection that could. Those tulips are pretty. The green. Once again, I should have taken a look before, but you know, like I said, I wasn't going to decorate. I do like that a lot. I want to put something on there because it says plague on this vagary. And then I'm in a nice, I like the nice part, but the plague part, not as much of a fan. So I'm going to put a sticker on top of there. I love these washies. They're so much fun. Like I said, you can still see the letters through there. And maybe like a little tidbit going across there. That could be kind of fun. All right, this one says Sunset Boulevard, California. I think that would be fun. I'll cover up. Put that. I don't want to cover up too much of the green. I think I will go right there. And I think maybe one of those fun butterflies. I like the yellow butterfly. I see a green and yellow. Ooh, that's pretty. I think I'm gonna go with the green and yellow and like sit on the tag, surrounded by the purple. Cute. I pulled this out because there was a little bit of purple on there, but I don't think it's totally necessary. I'll save it for something else. I'm not going to decorate the foot. But yeah, how easy it is to decorate those. Even when they're in there. Nice if you can get all the edges with some glue on it though. There we go. Cute, right? And then just stick a journal card in there and you are all set to go. Oh, look at that. The pink flower. I love it. Too busy for that side? Actually, it wouldn't be too busy for that side, but it totally would go in there. I love it. Okay. Save that piece and all right, I think, so if you understand it completely, you want to go, I appreciate you guys sticking by, but I think I'm just going to fold one more, only because there's a couple steps on there. Whoa, sorry about that. Fold one more, the pocket, not attached to anything in general, but I think I will do one with a print to kind of show how that gets done. But yeah, I think those are awesome. All right, I think this one will be fun. This has a lot of options to make pockets and stuff out of. And it has a bigger border, but I think we're still going to be okay. So we're going to start with folding it in half, and it's going to end up being a shorter pocket, but I think most of this is just going to end up being folded over anyway, just to give it the security. Just folding over just a hint of the color so that it's completely hidden. And I'll fold this over. I probably could do that fold over after I do the scoring, but since my scoreboard's shorter, I like to do it that way. All right, so once again, we are going to need to get down to 7.5 inches. And we got to remember that 1.5 inches would be the beginning. So that could be, let's see, that's here. So that would be a pocket. And that could be a simple pocket. Now we do this side. The problem is we come in 1.5 inches. It really gets rid of the whole flower. So it's probably better that I get rid of that side and do this side as a pocket and a back pocket. Yeah, we like that. All right, so let's get the chopper out. And again, I'm going to do a 4.5 inch pocket. So adding 3 inches onto the pocket size, we are going to cut it at 7.5 inches. So I want to make sure I cut the right side off. So this was 11. So if you took that, you could technically take 11 minus the 7.5 and cut off 3.5 inches with the other machine. All right, 7.5. I am including the border with that. And what's nice is I do have a lovely scrap that I can use as a decoration for a journal card. Okay. All right, once again, we are going to score. I'm going to fold it in half. I think I could score double length. We're going to score every 1/2 inch 3 times. So we got 1/2, 1, and 1.5. And I do feel the bump, so I think we might be okay. And 1/2, 1, and 1.5. I think we'll be okay. All right, I'm going to open it up to do the fold, and we're going to fold up and back and burnish it down. All right, so once again, we're going to fold the first piece up. Oops. And I'm going to fold then at the third one. It just makes it easier because then I fold that and then I fold this back. However you want to fold in an accordion fold, it's up to you, but I find that to be the easiest way to do it. All right, and we're gonna burnish that down. Okay, so now we've got our side hinges. And once again, we are going to fold the top down and glue it, and then we'll come back and cut it. I think I'll be okay with this glue. It's a thicker border. Put some glue on there and fold it down. And add some glue there and fold it down. Okay, I'm going to come back and cut those edges in a minute because I'm going to let this dry. Glue takes a little longer to dry. I'm going to cut the center one. So we are going to fold it back into its spot, and I'm just going to fold this one since I'm going to have to fold it in a second anyway. All right, so we are going to fold it, open it once so I don't cut the pocket. We're going to just fold it once, and I'm going to trim that excess out and trim the excess out. Now, if we went too far and cut into the pocket, it would probably still be okay because nothing's going to fall out of that tiny hole, but I just like to put it just where it's at. And I really just kind of left a little weird divot there. We're just going to cut it out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the tops now. Once again, we're going to open it once, and we're going to, there we go. We're going to just, I want to see the corner of the pocket. We're going to cut it there, and cut it there. Cut it there, and cut it there. Lots of little triangles. Okay, fold it back in. there we go. We have a lovely pocket that can go onto a page. All right, I'm not going to glue it, but I got my coffee dyed sample one that I always have. And once again, this could go right there. Cute with the flower, right? Go ahead and throw some glue on there, glue it down, open it up. This side is a bit upside down, but again, that flower just could be drooping. This fleur-de-lis pattern looks fine the way it is. And you would just go ahead and put some glue on those and glue it down, and you've got double-sided hinged pockets. I really like that one. That one's cute. That should go on something at some point. Yeah, I like it. Now, if you wanted to just use this same kind of concept for maybe a journal card somehow that you would stick it in, I think you could do it. Let's see, I've got these here. These are not really journal cards, but they're kind of journal card size. You could put it on something and glue it down and have the back the way it was and have something in there, and then take that and be able to stick it in a pocket. You could definitely do that. I would probably do something a little bit smaller for it. If you didn't want to put double-sided, you've done this whole process and you decide you just want single, just go ahead and cut it there and just glue that pocket down. Just make sure you put some glue on the bottom and not just the two sides, and you have a hinge pocket. Now, hinge pockets are nothing new. I'm not inventing anything here, but I have not seen where the hinge pocket wraps around a page, and that's kind of where my whole thought came into for this. Now, it definitely could exist. I'm not saying it does, or not saying it doesn't. Just something, as you saw my prototype in my brain, I came up with to do. So, yeah, you could probably even just, if you wanted to, glue those together and glue that onto the front of a page and have a double wide, extra wide pocket. Again, options. I love making options. If you've seen my channel at all, options are probably one of my favorite words. I know, weird word to have a favorite, but I love options. And as usual, I'm here to not say this is exactly how you have to do it. This is the exact size you have to do. This is the exact kind of paper you have to use. Nothing like that. I'm here just to say, hey, here's an idea to use some paper that you have laying around and make an interesting pocket. And as you can see, you can just make it all out of all different kinds. Put it on a cardstock paper, put it on double-sided paper, put it on some coffee dyed paper, somewhere in the journal, and let it go. Yeah, I love it. And if you got some digitals laying around that you didn't know what to do with, there you go. There's another reason. Make some pockets. Have them hanging around. Okay, well, that is going to be it for today's video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see future projects, especially my ones with the Scrap Buster, Bust a Scrap project that I love doing, and I have about, I think 18 more to do to get to my 50. Please hit the subscribe channel and hit the bell notification so when the video pops up, you get notified. They love to hide creative people way down in the algorithm and bump up, crazy conspiracy people. I've noticed. I get so many weird pop-ups in mine. I don't know where it comes from. Who knows? I clicked on something and now I'm a weird person. All right, well, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you like the idea, and I'm so happy you stopped by. And as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.